Hello and welcome back to MindSpanse. I'm Craig, and thank you for taking a little time with me today. We are going to be talking about trusting your inner wisdom. As you go through a meditative process or just life in general, there always seems to be that voice that seems to know everything, that little voice. It's the same voice probably that exists as long as you can remember, since you were very young, and it's always there. And we're going to talk about that and do a quick little exercise, and I think you'll find it really awesome and helpful. But first, our stretch all the way up to the sky. Breathe in deep through your nose. Smile. Hold it for a second, and then release through your mouth. Let your shoulders drop. Relax your jaw, and we're good to go. So, inner wisdom. What is inner wisdom? I don't know. Somehow, if you have a really good friend who comes to you and asks you a question, often you have extreme clarity as it relates to how to help them. And almost always, really, I think the advice that we give to our friends is from the heart, and it's from the truth. It's from our inner truth, that inner guide. And for whatever reason, we don't follow the same rules often for ourselves. And so it's like, why do we do that? And I think there's a bunch of reasons. I think one is accountability. If you follow the truth and it doesn't work out, then where are you? Now, I'll argue that whenever you're following your truth, it has to work out because you're doing what's right for you, and how other people react is irrelevant, honestly. But you may not get the responses and things that you would hope to get when you follow your path, and that's something that you need to come to terms with. But often we'll go outside and we'll say, ask people just like someone came to ask us, and they'll tell us what they think we should do, and they're probably giving us really good advice from their perspective. And but at the end of the day, we all know what the truth is. We all know what's going on in a relationship. We all know what's going on at work, and what people are good with us and what people are not good with us, and whether we're doing sort of the right thing or the wrong thing or whatever. So we know all this stuff, and yet somehow, because of fear of accountability, because of sort of our fear of failure, because we understand in some other part of our brain that truth may trigger a whole series of actions, which I'm sure our brain has already figured out, which people are not going to react well to that, and that may screw up our picture in some other point. So we actually choose on purpose not to follow what would be the truth. You can talk about politics or things that are going on now, and people are very skittish about what they talk about. So how do we sort of break through all that? Because if you're going to have clarity, what's the point if you're not going to learn to trust yourself, right? Because the whole point of quieting our bodies and our mind and achieving, clearing our lenses, inner lenses, and is to get at that truth and then to learn how to trust it. So the exercise is really cool. It's really fun. And actually, I have a guided meditation on trusting your inner wisdom. So you can listen to that while you're lying down, and it's a really peaceful, cool, guided meditation on the MindSpanse YouTube channel. So definitely check that out. And so the exercise is very simple. You're visualizing that you're sitting in a field or wherever you are, somewhere really beautiful and fun, And you imagine somebody showing up. And it could be a dog or an owl or a person or whatever. Just summon somebody or something or anything and allow this thing to exist. And then engage this person and ask them questions and say, how can I help you? First of all, thank you for coming. And then how can I help you? And let them ask you a question. And obviously, a question will arise. I mean, questions, it'll be your question, but you're basically creating this other personality that's, of course, part of you, and maybe not. But, and they're going to say, well, how do I deal with this situation at work? Or how do I deal with this situation with my friend or with my boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever? And then you should answer the question. Listen to the situation, the story, and then answer it as if you were helping a friend, and then try to reverse roles and see what happens. And the mentality will shift when you put your stuff into a third party. It's sort of like, if you've ever seen child psychologists, they use puppets to communicate because it's easier for kids. It's probably easier for adults too, actually. So this is a form of that, actually. So you've basically created this other persona that shares their issue, which is your issue, but it's through this third-party mechanism. And you can be honest with that person without consequence. And then as soon as you start to flip the roles, all of a sudden you start to think about the consequences. And you'll notice that. So and you say, well, what if but you got to get through that. And the only way to do it is little by little. I don't know how else to describe, but in order to build trust is to take action, right? Because not acting is the worst thing you could possibly do, not doing something. So you could take little pieces of the truth and start to enact them, make that phone call, or turn right instead of going straight, or whatever it is, right? And when you do that, you'll start to see that inner truth is pretty smart, and it's done a lot of calculations that you can't even imagine, just like your body calculates how you walk and not fall. Your brain is running lots of scenarios as to what may or may not happen. So that inner wisdom is actually smarter than you think, and is taken into account a lot of these coincidental actions that you think are going to happen, and sort of envelop that into its solution, this wise solution for you. And you'll realize that as you start to follow that truth. So take little bits of it and then go act and see what happens, and do it scientifically. And little by little, I think you're going to find that this cat's pretty smart. And that's that's your truth. And so then it's going to want you to clear your mind even more, because you'll see that the clearer you are and the less noise you have, and the more your lens is polished, that truth reflects louder and louder and louder, and you're going to feel better and better and better. And it's instead of spiraling down, you're going to spiral up. And so I wish you great success with that. Please share it, any thoughts you have in comments. And please subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying these series. And like it if you like it, and share it with your friends that you think would benefit from this. And I wish you a phenomenal day. They are opening up some stores and things now, so it's really very exciting to see the lockdown starting to end. And I wish everyone great joy and peace and clarity. So have a great day. Thank you.